Here we go now.
Go now. Here we go now. Here we go now. All right. Enough of that. Apologies for being a little tardy for the party. Just, I rewatched Real Housewives of Potomac this morning. Then I rewatched the after show twice, even though it was like 16 minutes. But, things happen. Happy New Year, guys. I know a lot of you are back at work today, finally. Today is Monday. For those that don't know, today is Monday. Can you hear me, see me, all the good things? We are also live on X. We're live on Twitch. We're finally back live on Facebook. Apologies, we had some issues. We were hacked on Facebook. Well, shout out to the Meta team. We were able to get that together over the weekend and fix that. So we are back alive on Facebook. So shout out to everyone on Facebook. If you got any sort of weird messages from me from the Kempire Daily or the Kempire pages, ignore. Okay? Okay, ignore. All right. Anyway, if anything, the New Year's a reminder for us to reset our passwords of all the things. So just an FYI, if you've been thinking about changing your password. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac, guys. If you had to rate this week's episode from 1 to 10, how would you rate it? I thought it was interesting that that's the thing about Potomac and the editors. I feel like the way that these episodes are edited, we think that this is going to be mostly about the group trip, and then we only get like 5 minutes of the group trip. I was a little bit more excited. It felt like a lot of filler for this particular episode. If anything, I would probably say this episode was more of a filler than it was an actual good episode. You know what I mean? But it was okay. It wasn't their best episode, but it was okay for me. But it felt like a lot of filler for me. I'm interested to see where this trip goes. I have a lot of opinions on certain things that happened in this episode. And I know what you're probably thinking. We probably could have did without some of those little filler moments and scenes in this week's episode. But I did see that Andy Cohen posted, Andy, I can still see your tweets, despite being blocked. He announced that they will be filming the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. Not shocked. And he was asking for your questions. So if you have questions for the reunion, this is your opportunity to voice those questions to Andy Cohen on his social media. All right. Shout out to everyone that's already liked the video. We almost have 200 people that have already liked the video. So thank you to everyone that has liked the video. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch. I see you guys on Twitch. What's going on Twitch? Be sure to let me know where you guys are watching from as well. Let me open my notes for this week's episode. This week's episode is episode 13. Episode 13. Speaking of 13, don't forget March 13th, the Kempire After Dark, a live show returns to New York City. There's a live stream option. There are meet and greets, but this will be probably our only show of 2026. So if you've been wanting to see the show in person, this is your opportunity. Get your tickets today. Ticket information will be available in the description. All right, so let's start off this. So they first start off with these little flashes of scenes before we get to our main scene. The first one is, and which is interesting and why I'm pointing it out, because normally we don't talk about those little moments, but Wendy's commencement speech at the Washington School for Girls, I just thought to myself, I was like, all these things that I think Wendy is very proud of and likes doing, being in political spaces, making these speeches at schools, being a professor. I do think on one element, because it's been instilled in her because of her Nigerian culture to get her education and to do these things. Yes, she personally would like to be a reality star. I strongly believe that is her preference. However, it's been instilled in her, ingrained in her to go for education because at the end of the day, I think other people within her culture are still like, okay, you're on television, but what's your education? My son's over here is a doctor, my daughter is a doctor or a lawyer or engineer, and you're on a reality show. I think in her mind, she would love to be a reality TV star, but culturally, her mom, her mom, she gets her check. Okay. I don't know if she's getting her check now. Did you guys see that Wendy posted a photo of her and her family on a ski trip? I have thoughts about that. My first inclination was like, yes, life has to go on. These are just allegations. They're not admitting guilt. But I just feel like not everything needs to be posted on social media. You could still live your life, have a good time. Not everything needs to be posted on social media because everything on social media is going to be used against you. Literally, in your criminal case, it's being used against you. Enjoy your life. Again, these are allegations, but I just personally wouldn't post anything unless it's required by my job to post something on social media right now. Just for optics. That's just me. I'm not going to say that they don't need to live their lives because, again, innocent until proven guilty. But look, and I thought this to myself yesterday, too, because I've seen so many people come to social media, the blogs and things like that. Not everything that's on your mind or happening in life has to be on social media, but that's the culture that we've become. Everything has to be posted on social media. Your relationship woes, every thought that you've had has to be posted on social media. Every trip that you're on has to be posted on social media. It doesn't. It doesn't. Hey, Dr. Miss Honey, did you go to Home Depot today? This weekend? You had to be there for the inside joke. Dr. Miss Honey, thank you for being a member. Dr. Miss Honey says, as a professor, my heart breaks for this situation. We sacrifice so much getting PhDs, and your whole career hinges on your integrity. No getting that back if the allegations are true. That's the thing, right? El My Bell says, great point. It's not a great look at this time. And that doesn't take away from them having the trip, having the picture for themselves, but because you already know, you're accusing the prosecution of trying to feed this information to the blogs, don't give them fodder. You could still have a good time. You could still go on your trips, but social media doesn't need to know. And look, beautiful family. And I'm glad that they're doing well and they had a happy new year, but not everything needs to be on social media. Not everything. Maybe after you win this case, then we could do that. But that's just me. I'm not judging. Okay, maybe I'm judging a little bit. But it just led to a bigger thought that everything that happens in your life, and no matter if you are in a situation like Wendy or in just a regular person, not everything or every thought. I can't tell you the amount of times I want to say something or do a video or respond to something that I'm just like, no, it ain't work. Look, I'll write the tweet and I'm like, never mind. I can't tell you the amount of times. I look forward to the days where I have a social media manager where I'm like, all those apps won't be on my phone anymore and write this tweet. And then they will write it and they'll be like, I don't know if you should put that out. Oh, okay. Fine. Okay. But anyway. Oh, Fiery says had to block a dear friend because she was getting into graphic vaginal woes. What? Wait a bit. Wait. What? Huh? Oh, look. Oh. I didn't read the last part of that tweet, but damn. Wait, Mr. Melon Magic has a new picture, y'all, and I can't stand him. This new picture, for those that are listening to the podcast version of this, if you noticed when Stacy called Angel, she used a very interesting photo from her Instagram. It's a beautiful photo of Angel. But is it photoshopped a little bit? A little bit. I like it. She looks good. But that's Mr. Melanin Magic's new photo. It's the actual image of Angel in the phone, in Stacy's phone, photoshopped. I am a true gem says, wait a minute, laughing out loud. I know, I didn't look. Guys, okay? Sure says, was that maybe an autocorrect? I don't know. Why are we talking about the VJJ this early on a Monday? Happy New Year, Danielle. What are we talking about? T says, I love Mr. Melanin Magic and I don't even know him. I'm glad you do. Glad you do. All right, so I've digressed from that one little scene of Wendy speaking at this commencement. Now all those opportunities I already know, especially right now, they will not be offered to Wendy. Then we see Arabella in the kitchen with her mom, Stacy, and in real time, Stacy finds out her daughter is ambidextrous. And she's like, oh yeah, I cut with my right arm. And then she said she writes with her left. And she's just like, oh, I love Arabella. And then Kiarna has her own moment. Kiarna, she has her med spa and she has this whole billboard ceremony. So this was an opportunity for the editors to get in all these little scenes that they probably would have left on the cutting room floor inside the episode. Again, highlighting. Here's the thing though, Kiarna, you weren't full-time at one particular point and they still highlighted your business. I think that was a win-win, but fine. We get this moment with her celebrating this billboard, okay? And her mom's like, I'm so proud of you, blah, blah, blah. Greg has to put his 2 cents in. I don't know, y'all. It just feels every time that Greg, especially this season, speaks, it feels like he's performing. It doesn't feel genuine. And I'm not saying that he doesn't genuinely love Kiarna and it doesn't genuinely feel support for her. It just feels performative. It feels like an overcorrection. Even when he made the little comment about, I'm so proud of you. I'm like, it doesn't feel like the same Greg that we originally met. It doesn't. I appreciate the support, but anyway. All right, let's move. You guys are making fun of the way that Stacy says Arabella. I remember she's QVC. She has a certain way of pronouncing things. Okay. Oh, Foxy said, Greg, shut the F up. Damn. Deborah says, I'm always side-eyeing Greg. There's just something. Yes, Mr. Melanin Magic is giving Tubi acting. She was very excited when her billboard finally came up on that thing. And look, you pay for stuff like that, but this is something she's always dreamed of having. Now she's able to afford it and do it. Congratulations, Kiarna. Right? All right. T says you could tell it wasn't genuine. All right, let's get to this moment. So Tia, I almost forgot about this because I felt like we already saw this because we saw the preview for this scene a couple of weeks ago, but it's been the holidays. So watching it again, I was like, oh, wait a minute. We haven't talked about it. It hasn't aired officially, but we saw the preview of the scene. So Tia visits her childhood home, or one of her childhood homes that was in DC. She says her father hated London, but loved living in DC. And apparently, since she's moved to the area, she would drive past this home, and she finally reached out to the owners to see if she could come and basically film in this home. Okay, so she goes to the home with her half sister, and they walk around the home. The home is beautiful, right? It's a really nice home. I like the bones of the home, and then when they looked up to the stairs and you see the chandelier, I was like, this is a beautiful home. I wonder if she would buy it. I feel like this home is more beautiful than the one that Tia actually lives in. But look, this is what she grew up in. Okay. So Tia says she's driven past the home many times, but has never knocked on the door, which I completely understand. Would you knock on a door of like your old home? I I personally wouldn't, but I definitely think reaching out and asking to film in it was I would do something like that. Because it adds to her storyline, and part of her storyline is about her family and her father and losing her father. So I don't know about you guys, and you can have your feelings. I think Tia was a great addition. She didn't do too much. Did I love everything about her? You don't love everything about any of these housewives, at least not me. I don't love everything about everyone, but Tia has been a good addition. I like her. I see the potential in her. I think she can move forward with a Stacey. I don't think it's really the ending there. What I don't necessarily love is how she will bend any which way when it comes to Giselle. And I've seen that in the after show, and I'm just like, I need you to have your own. And that's why I always say, like, when you have people like that on the cast, it makes me wonder what it would be like without a Giselle on the cast. You know what I mean? Because then they probably would feel more free that you don't have this OG there that you feel like that's always going to control everything that's happening behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Hold on. Speaking of cast, because you guys are always asking about Katie Rose. Did you guys hear the news that Katie Rose is back in rehab? So apparently, allegedly, her husband went on social media and revealed that Katie must have taken some ecstasy, basically, and had a bad trip to the point where it gave her a seizure. It looks like they've now deleted that tweet because maybe the family was like, don't put out that information. But the first tweet that the husband put out there said that my wife is in treatment. I have her phone. Thank you for the messages. But after that tweet, he had posted another tweet. I don't have it in front of me, because it's now since been deleted, was the fact that she had some sort of bad trip, Katie Rose. So for all of you that keep asking for Katie to come back, or you keep reporting on Katie's tweets, I keep telling you guys, why are we taking what Katie says as Bible just because it fits the narrative of, oh, you don't like Ashley? I get that, but Katie is not well. She's not well. She herself has said this. She's not well. We should treat it as that. All right. I saw another post was posted that said all that matters is that she is okay, because they deleted the original tweet where the husband, because she got married again. Katie needs to work on her sobriety, not relationships, not being married. She needs to work on that. So for everyone that keeps asking for Katie to return to Real Housewives of Potomac, this is not a safe space for someone dealing with what Katie was dealing with. If this was a safe space, I'd be like, yeah, bring Katie back. But this is not a safe space for Katie. So Katie apparently is back in treatment. I wish her well. I definitely wish her well. And look, we could always go back and remember the good old times and the old seasons with Katie, but Katie's not in a space to be on Potomac, Real Housewives of Potomac. And I think that's part of the reason why the cast do not come at Katie when she says some of the things that she says on social media, because they also know that she's not well and what she's dealing with. All right. All right. So I wanted to make sure that we talked about that. All right. So back to Tia. So we're back in Tia's childhood home. She's speaking with the family that now lives there. She says that her father hated London but loved DC. So she part of the reason her moving to DC was to feel closer to her dad, who passed away 8 years ago. So Tia, as soon as she even gets into the house, she gets emotional because she said the last time she was even there, her dad was alive. Okay. So her sister's with her. Her twins are with her as well. She recreates a photo of what her and her brothers did on the stairs of the same home. Of course, the home looks a little bit more, a little different, a little bit more upgraded. And she tells the lady, "I love what you've done with the home." She recreates this photo with her children on the steps, which I think was really sweet and beautiful to do. Um, then they're walking through the home, and she's talking about the memories of being in this home. And her sister says, "Oh, in one of the rooms, there was like this sort of passage, and it was open to June 11th, which was her father's birthday. A Gemini like Simon Gobadia?" Just say. So Tia gets emotional seeing that because I'm sure she feels like that's a sign from her father that, I'm glad. First of all, Tia has felt guilt of not really including her half siblings earlier on while her father was still alive. So this is sort of like a full circle moment to be able to share this moment with her sister. Again, this goes back to what I was saying about I think Tia has been a good housewife. I like her commentary. I think she's molded well within this group, but she also has had her own real storyline. And no matter how you feel about her children and how they speak to the parents, at least she's being honest about that too. You might not like it, but at least she's being honest about it. Okay. So I thought this was a beautiful moment. It's probably one of my favorite moments of the episode. And that's how the episode begins for Real Housewives of Potomac. For those that are just joining us, we're talking about the latest episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac. And today's live recap is brought to you by our friends over at Factor. It's a new year, and I know it's a new you. And we've partnered with our friends over at Factor Meals yet again for the new year. Factor Meals, as you know, is a perfect option for those that don't want to cook, like I don't, but you also want healthy options. And they have a variety for you to choose from. So let's get started with the new year with our friends over at Factor. New Year, big goals, no time to cook? Factor makes it easy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs, so you can eat well without shopping or cooking. And I've talked to you guys before. I've spoken and gone through Factor meals with my own dietitian, and we've compared it to other meals, and this one has been a great option for me. So there's quality, functional ingredients, including lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats. No refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, or refined seed oils. You have 100 rotating weekly meals. Options include high protein, calorie smart, Mediterranean diet, GLP-1 support. Because people forget this. I was just watching Dr. Frida. I don't know if you guys follow her on YouTube. She was talking about even if you're on GLP-1s, you need to be making sure that you are having a proper diet. It's not something that you can be on and just eat whatever you want. They also have some ready to eat salads. Plus, the new Muscle Pro collection supports strength and recovery. You know, I use this, so I think you should too. Of course, I've gotten you a deal. Head on over to factormeals.com/Kempire50 off and use code Kempire50 off to get 50% off your first Factor box and plus free breakfast for 1 year. Please keep in mind, offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easier with Factor. More details on your discount and more will be available in the description. Oh, and we're back. Shout out to Factor for sponsoring today's Real Housewives of Potomac recap. And shout out to our members. It is a members only live chat. So if you would like to be a member, you can click the join button or head on over to teamkempire.com/join. All right. So shout out to all of our members in the chat. We see you and we appreciate all of your support, your monthly support. Some of you have been members for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, or a few years. So thank you, thank you, thank you. This is one of the perks, one of the many perks of being a member of the channel. But thank you to everyone watching on multiple platforms. I see you folks watching on X and on Twitch and on Facebook. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac. Let's get to this next scene. Giselle, Ashley, and Wendy meet up for lunch, which is interesting that we're getting another scene with these sort of foundation to Potomac, the ladies that have been on the show for the longest right now. Okay. All right. So Wendy, I thought Wendy in this particular moment, and maybe she did and it was edited out. I don't think so though. But Wendy talks about what happened in the previous episode with her mom. And I thought that based on the way she was setting this up, that she was going to open up to the women. But she says that she has to handle this with care because it's her mom. And she has to be careful who she talks to about this with. I thought in this moment that she was going to open up to them about what happened with her mom, but we didn't get that. So Wendy opens up. She's like, "We had a great event," and she high fives Giselle, and I'm like, "The event that we watched, the last episode, that was a great event." Okay, I don't know about that event. That event was definitely not giving great, but fine. Fine, girl. You like it. We love it for you and Giselle. All right. So they discussed Timo briefly, and Wendy's like, that's my friend, and Giselle's like, that's your friend. She's like, yeah, we talked. She's like, oh, he talked to you? Yes, that's her new friend. He was there for 30 something minutes. All right. So they get a group invite from Monique, an invite for her sip and read party, because she is, look, this is the whole reason why Monique is back. Let's break the fourth wall, okay? Monique is only back and only making peace with Giselle because she has this book that she wrote and she would like to promote it on the show. Am I mad at that? No. Smart. The fact that they are even open to bringing her back after the things that she said about the cast and the show and her time on the show up until about a year ago. Okay. Fiery says, you mean the potluck? Yeah, that event. So she's here to promote this book and her essential oils. Can't be mad at that, but it's important for us, the audience, to understand what we're getting from Monique, who swears that she's the most genuine person ever and she's so healed and changed. I don't know if I believe that at all. I definitely think she's changed, but I've covered Monique so much over the last couple of years. I'm just like, I find so many inconsistencies in things that she says. And when I find inconsistencies that are consistent with you being inconsistent, I'm just like, yeah. I just look at her differently. And it's not just because I watch Love and Marriage DC. It's just a pattern that I'm noticing. Okay? But fine. She invites the group because she is promoting this new book. All right? All right. All right. Let me take a sip. Oh, yes, the water bottle, the coldest water bottle is back in the building. And the water is cold. All right. So they all react to that. Wendy says that Angel is like a wet blanket in the group, because they start talking about Angel and what's going on with Angel, because she also invited them to Colorado. They talk about the Colorado invite. And Wendy says that Angel is like a wet blanket in the group. And I have to agree with that. No matter how you feel about what happens in this week's episode, I still feel like she's like a Debbie Downer. Okay? So Giselle says that she can't wait to see Angel's home because she brags about it all the time. I watched the Homeworthy with Angel and Bobby. It is a beautiful home. It is a very beautiful home. Can it accommodate? How many of those women went there? How many of them? I mean, I've lost count at this, but that's a lot of people. Okay. And I could completely understand why she wouldn't have everyone there, but we will get to all of that. But Giselle says she can't wait to see Angel's home because she's always talking about it and bragging about it. She should. I mean, and she has taste, unlike you, Giselle. Look, no matter how you feel about Angel, this is why I say be team you, because when someone is right and when someone has something to brag about, you can. Because some people are so stand in their standum that they be like, nope, always got to ride for Giselle no matter what. Tacky fashions or whatever. Tacky house or whatever. Angel's home, beautiful, immaculate. You're not going to even get a little moment of that from this show. So go watch Homeworthy, because the Homeworthy was definitely, it gives you a real overview of her beautiful home and the details and things like that. It also made me go, It makes you think about that $30,000 that you may have stolen, allegedly. She brought that up on the show. She was being accused of stealing money from Bobby early on in their relationship. Okay. So there were some things I pointed it out in previous recaps when I finally watched the Homeworthy. I was like, interesting. But anyway, so Giselle says she's interested in seeing it. Wendy says that she's looking forward to this trip because she knows it's going to be an ish show. Oh. Here comes Danielle. Danielle says Team Green Eye Bandits, but Giselle is a Bama. Oh. Look, oh. Ooh. Allie Margaret. Thank you for remembering. Allie says, in 2026, let's do without standing tacky. Okay. Miss Kelly, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Miss Kelly says Giselle does not move like a true OG. As much as I love her, I am honestly over her as a housewife. Wow. She doesn't move like an OG, but I think when you guys kind of look back over Giselle's tenure on Housewives, you'll see that it's not as iconic as some of you make it out to be. I'm not saying that she hasn't been good over the years, but it's not as iconic. When you overlook some of, and I don't even know if Bravo has this, but they do have it for certain people. They have it for Candace. They have it for Karen Huger. Iconic moments, reads and shady moments. I'm sure they probably do have it because Giselle has been shady. But yeah, yeah. All right. Acids, who's watching on Twitch, says she is boring and shares zero of her life. And they just allow her to do that. They just allow her to do it. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on from there. So Wendy says that she's looking forward to it. Here's the thing, and so many people I've seen have said this, and I definitely think that there's an element of this, that Wendy is just happy to, first of all, not to be the one being hazed or the focal point. And I also think that some of you have said that she's always wanted to be Giselle's friend. I think that could be true, but I also think she is just happy that she's not the one that's getting hazed or being the focus or anyone's talking about her. I think that's where Wendy is so happy right now. Okay. All right. So Angel, we have this little moment with Angel calling her sister Ingrid. She discusses what happened with the Airbnb, and she says, Bobby was not happy about it. He's livid about it. She's not calling it Airbnb. She's saying that there was a lease. I don't think it was a lease, y'all. And maybe at the reunion, we will have a better understanding of what happened. I think it was an Airbnb. That text message that she got from the owner was giving Airbnb. You know what I mean? Not a lease. You didn't sign a lease for a couple of months. I mean, you can, but I'm just saying. I'm like, this was an Airbnb, which is fine. But them running with the narrative, they keep pushing this narrative, catfish. They keep running with this narrative of eviction. Y'all need to stop. Because Ashley, let's be honest. You were probably, if Michael didn't give you and buy you this house, you would have been evicted from that apartment. Okay? Like, stop acting as if a lot of your life wasn't propped up because of the man that you were with. Y'all want to keep running with the narrative of eviction because, again, the narrative of eviction is that she wasn't able to pay. Bobby made nearly $40 million in his NFL career. Not to say that's what he has in the bank, but I don't think that they're broke. But that's me, okay? All right. So she discusses this with her sister in regards to what happened with the lease. Fine. Then she talks about she's planning this trip to go to Colorado, and she's actually excited to get back to Colorado. It seems to be their safe space. When you look at their Homeworthy tour of their home, I completely understand. When you put that amount of thought and effort into a home, like down to every detail, I understand. And also the backdrop of Colorado, I completely understand why that would be their safe space and why they go back there often. And why they probably wouldn't settle for just any old house in the DMV. I can understand because they're like, you know what? We found a beautiful home in the DMV. I want to have that same feeling. If we're going to stay here and raise our kids in DMV, I want that same feeling that we have in Colorado. I'm starting to understand it a little bit more. Okay. So she says it's going to feel like a reset going back to Colorado. Bobby comes out, brings her some tea, kisses her. I think Bobby loves her. I know in this episode, Monique tries to compare what she went through with her NFL husband. I don't know if I feel the same. But again, I'm not a wag. I'm not a former wag. I don't know that life. Maybe she sees something that we don't see. I just don't know if I would be making that kind of comment. I just feel like making that kind of comment from a healed person over someone's relationship is a little negative. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to wish that on. I'm not saying she's wishing it, but I just feel like to make that sort of comment just based off of one comment she made to you that Bobby he didn't want to come to this event. That's not an indication that Bobby is a Chris Samuels. Eh, That's not. He didn't want to come to this event because these people have been dragging her, calling her a catfish. And then when she gets to the event, they bring catfish. And now they're talking about her getting evicted. So I understand why Bobby may not want it to be there. But again, we are just getting introduced to Bobby. I'm not standing for Bobby until we get to know more about Bobby. Exactly. Keisha says Bobby does seem down for her, but over the show. Can you blame him? Because she's probably also at home complaining about it. What's Bobby's sign? Can someone look that up? Have we ever looked that up? I know she's a Pisces. So I'm already giving her the side eye. Mm. What's Bobby's sign? I don't think we ever looked that up. Well, that part. Dina says, Dina says, does any husband really want to go to any of those events? Because my thing is, would Monique say the same thing about Timo leaving the event 30 minutes in? He showed up and he stayed. Bobby. Okay. Okay. MB says Bobby does not like these fake ash jealous women. Yeah, it's definitely giving that. Guys, we almost have 500 likes and we almost have 2,000 people watching on multiple platforms. So be sure to like the video if you haven't already. Marquell, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Marquell says, finally, Angel strikes back. Oh. We're going to talk about it. Taurus with the T, thank you so much for being a member and for the super chat. Taurus with the T says, Happy New Year's, Hemp. Thank you. Giselle doesn't agree, doesn't wait. Giselle doesn't energy give OG. Giselle's energy doesn't give OG. There's 2 YouTube compilations of Giselle and Robin getting dragged for. See what I'm saying? Getting dragged for filth. I watch it monthly. Not Taurus with a T watches it monthly. I could have told you. I was like, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a compilation of Bravo doing that, because Bravo does their own compilations and then fans do their own compilations. It's always like Candace. It's always like a Karen Huger. Yeah, we don't get that from Giselle or Robin. Thank you so much for the super chat, Taurus with the T. Guys, you can also support just by liking today's video. We're talking about the latest episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac. We will be taking calls from our members shortly. Okay. Acid says Bobby is a Leo Kempire. Oh, I mean, that makes sense when you look at them. Leos usually have a certain aesthetic to them as well. So I'm not completely surprised by that. Hey, Auntie Kimmy. Auntie Kimmy says, I think that Angel is too sensitive for this show. Her response to everything is so over the top. She should have laughed at the catfish. I can see what you're saying. And a lot of people have said this about Angel, that she's too sensitive. She's a Pisces, so I'm not surprised by that as well. Okay. Angel says, Bobby is a Leo, born in the year of the Earth Snake. Oh, now you getting real specific, Angel. Thank you. All right. I don't know if she's too sensitive for the show, but maybe for this group. Maybe for this group. Definitely, could she have taken things on the chin a little bit more like Stacey has done? Yeah, definitely. But I definitely think the catfish is tired. Aren't we tired of the catfish? Like, come on now, y'all. Aren't we tired of the catfish comment? Okay, now it's just giving mean. All right, moving on. So Angel says that the group can kiss her ASS, all right, with that eviction comment. So Ashley hosts a family birthday party because there's a few different birthdays, and all, including Dean's birthday. So her family comes over. Uncle Lump is there. I love Uncle Lump. That's probably Ashley's only saving grace, because, and honestly, her saving grace, because Mama Sheila is a mess. And I'm sure she's always been very grateful for having Uncle Lump in her life, because, she didn't have her father in her life. Uncle Lump has sort of really been both parents. If I'm going to be honest with you, I'm sorry, Sheila, because you had Ashley living with that man that had addiction issues, and just after 20 something years, finally got some help. And I'm wondering what the motivation was for him to finally get some help. I don't know. I feel like maybe based off of what Ashley said on the show, or maybe his own daughter saying, I don't want to come back home when I'm in college. I don't want to come back home and visit. It makes me wonder if that was the motivation after 20 something years. And look, good for John. That's the man's name, her partner. Good for him. But okay, you look 20 something years, she's never leaving this man. She gets emotional. So Sheila tells the group, my partner has gone into treatment. Uncle Lump is gonna keep it real. He was like, "What, John?" Uncle Lump doesn't care. Like, are we talking about John going in for rehab? I'm sorry. Uncle Lump is a straight shooter. Pow, 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 pow. Uncle Lump is not. He's just like, oh, wait, are we talking about John giving his full government? John going into rehab? I was like, well, Ashley is supportive of her mom. Her mom, while they're talking about this, Sheila is wiping away tears. Sheila's emotional about this. I would want to understand a little bit more about what's behind this emotion. But here's the thing that I got from the scene, because I know some of you fast forward through this scene, so I'm explaining to you what happened. Miss 24E says, I like Uncle Lump. He said, call it out. Uncle Lump said, John. I'm sorry. This was a very serious scene. But Uncle Lump it was just like, are we talking about John going into rehab? Yes, Uncle Lump, that's what we're talking about. But I appreciate Uncle Lump and his Banana Republic shirt. I got the same shirt, Uncle Lump. I got the same shirt. Q. And you know what I also love? Uncle Lump and his wife. They are a grounding, foundational force for Ashley that she's needed over her life. And I love how the aunt always pours into Ashley. Ashley needs it because Ashley's the way that she is for a lot of different reasons. Okay. And I'm looking at one of them, Sheila. Okay. And so Sheila reveals that her partner has gone into wait, Paulina says he said that loser. Did I miss that part? Or just conveniently forgot? Here's the thing. What stood out to me in this scene? Was the fact that Sheila's mom, Ashley's grandmother, was like, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with John. John's been fine with me. And I said, and there it is. John has been fine with you. Ashley points out, well, you didn't have to live with him. So this is where it all begins. Why a Sheila would stay with a man that you're working yourself down into sickness, and you're taking care of this man for 20 something years. He has an addiction, and God only knows he's probably been abusive to her, allegedly. Okay, but it could be emotional abuse. It doesn't have to be physical abuse. So I was like, Auntie says, exactly. Why does the grandmother love John so much after the way your daughter is being treated? And I said, that's the reason. It's right there. We never understood it until the grandmother was there. And we were like, oh, so this is why Sheila is the way that Sheila is. This is why Sheila stayed in this relationship. This is because of you. And I'm glad that Ashley in that moment was like, well, you didn't have to live with him. I was like, because for you to be fine with John, John's fine with me. Oh, but your daughter's sick. Your daughter's sick, working, taking care of this man. But John is fine with me. Uncle Lump is like, that loser? Uncle Lump's the only one with sense. Uncle Lump is the only one with sense. Dom says that Ashley's breaking generational curses. I mean, hopefully. Because if you look at the situation with Michael Darby, you'll be like, did she? Maybe she will do it the second time around. Noda Queen, thank you so much for being a member and for the super chat. Noda Queen says Michael is older than Uncle Lump. Ooh. I mean, he also looks it, but ooh, that's weird. Right? Desiree says, I thought the same thing, Kempire. Kalani says, exactly, grinning and ish. Hey, T, she says, I'm back. Had to get on a call. Damn them interfering with your Monday afternoon conversation. Damn them work. We're trying to get into some things when it comes to Real Housewives of Potomac. All right. Let me move on. So we had that scene with Ashley. Monique's sip and read event. Okay. So Monique's mother is beautiful. I'm sure we've seen her before. Have we? But it stood out to me. Monique is going to be fine the rest of her life if that's what her mother looks like. And they look so much alike because they both have the locks and everything like that. Her brother was there. Is that the one that created the fake accounts on social media during the whole season 5 of it all? Just asking. Just asking. Was that brother? Okay, just say. Her sister was there as well. Fine. So Monique has her book. It's all about her healing journey. Did you guys notice, for those that some of you didn't watch Love and Marriage DC? Arena and Jamie were there. Arena and Jamie, who were on Love and Marriage DC with Monique, were at this event. It was nice to see that they're still cool, because I don't think that Monique is cool with the rest of the cast. I don't think she's still cool with Ashley. I don't think she's still cool with Winter. So it was kind of nice to see that she was still cool with Arena and Jamie. But I feel like Arena and Jamie will go to the opening of an envelope, so it doesn't it doesn't really matter. They're gonna show up. They're gonna show up no matter what. They look. Arena's beautiful. They're a stunning couple. They will always look on point. They looked good. Okay. So they were there. So Angel comes in. And there's something about Angel that gives performative, that gives inauthentic sometimes. And I'm not saying that it just was something about it, just was giving. She was like, as a writer, I know how hard it is. But that could be also the whole wag of it all. And if you watch, I did a special Club Kempire episode. That's the Apple podcast with portion where you pay for it. And I did a recap of Members Only Palm Beach. I'm going to recap the last 2 episodes as well, hopefully this week. It's that same sort of fake energy, like a lot of these housewives sort of they just want to kind of be in these circles, so they'll fake it no matter what, even if they don't like the person. And I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but it just kind of gave that wag energy. Like, she's like, as a writer, I understand how hard it is to write a book, Yeah. So she compliments Monique on writing this book. She understands as a writer the dedication that it takes. Fine. And it does. It really does. It does take a lot of dedication. So Monique then decides to read an excerpt from the book. It's a love letter to herself. Giselle makes a comment and she's like, yeah, Monique loves, she loves, first of all, she says she loves Monique. No, you don't. You do not love Monique. She's like, I love Monique, but she can be long-winded. And Monique already warned them before. She's like, I know what you guys are going to say, that I talk a lot, blah, blah, blah. You do. And you say a bunch of nothing a lot of times. But fine. Okay? So, Monique says, hold on, let me go back up. So she reads a book, or reads an excerpt from the book. It's a love letter to herself, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? You don't care. Okay? If you do, you can go back and watch it on Peacock. Okay? So then she decides to play a game because she's like, I'm a binder bee. Okay? So she pulls out the binder and they flash back to season 5. And honestly, that's what made me like Monique, was that season 5. Nothing else that Monique gave us I ever enjoyed on the show. It was in that moment that I was just like, Monique, this is what you've had in you this entire time? Finally. And you know what it could have been too? First of all, it was her delivery, but also finding someone was standing up to Giselle. And I think if Angel did something like that, or just and we were seeing it with Stacey standing up to Giselle, not falling for the traps of the mean girl behavior or them coming for her. I think if Angel did that, people would have liked her more this season. People would have liked her more. So they play this game. She gives them all binders. And she's like, who are you? How do you present yourself to the world? But there are other tabs of the other women. And write your thoughts on the other women. According to the after show, Monique said that Stacey, even before writing anything down, was just like, is anyone else going to see this? And Monique was just like, I didn't like that. That already tells me a little bit about who Stacey is, blah, blah, blah. I I kind of understood why Stacy was just like asking those questions. First of all, we're filming this event. She knows how these things end up. Stacy, I don't even know why you were asking because you already know that's what the state of the game was going to be. Okay? So I don't know why it's such a big deal that Stacy said it. And that's obviously what you guys ended up doing. That's the thing with Monique, especially in the after show, you see it where she tries to kind of act as if she is so above it all. And I'm just like, girl, you are not above it all. We saw your last season. You are not above it all. And I know you keep saying that you've changed and you've grown from that situation, and maybe you have, but you are not better than any of these women. And that little check, you came right on back for that little check. Okay? All right. So, under each tab, write what you think about the other person or other people. Okay. So Monique says that Stacey, the last, as she's trying to separate the binders and mix up the binders, Stacey doesn't want to let go of the binder. So Monique says to Stacey, she says the last time a table separated her from someone, it didn't end well. How'd you guys feel about that joke? I mean, I get it. It was funny, but at the same time, I'm like, not very healed. I was like, So Stacey finally lets the book go. They switch up the binders. They give the everyone's binders to different people. Okay. So Giselle reads Stacey's binder, and Stacey says, okay, oh, this is what Stacey says about herself, blah, blah, blah. Then they asked to see what Giselle said about Stacey, and she left it blank. Funny because that's been the theme with her and Stacey. Okay. She left it blank. Ashley says that under Stacey's tab, she says that Stacey is complicated, confused, nurturing, and fun. Stacey takes it on the chin. She's like, you know what? Based on where we are at, I'll take it. All right, fine. Felicia says it's giving unhealed. All right. T says I didn't like the joke. Sajum says I shocked laughed. Noda Queen says that was a threat. The V-Light says it proved that there's no change. Okay. All right. Let me take a sip on that one. And as I take a sip on that one, today's Real Housewives of Potomac recap is brought to you by our friends over at Wix.com. It's a new year, and I bet you have new ideas or a new plan or new goals for yourself. Well, Wix.com has got you covered when it comes to your website. Years ago, one of my very first websites was built by Wix.com. And even back then, I was like, they make it so easy to build your own website. Because I can tell you this already. I've paid lots of money before to have my website built by other people. Wix makes it easy for you, the everyday person that doesn't really understand how building a website happens. Wix makes it so easy, especially with some of their AI tools. So when I started my podcast and YouTube channel, I didn't know what I was getting myself into at all. Back then, we didn't have AI. It was just me, myself, and I doing every single thing. If I could go back in time, if I was starting my business today, I use Wix. There's so many really cool options that Wix has now available to you. You can create a website your way, whether you want to have AI to jump in or you prefer to do it yourself. Use the AI when you want or how you want. You can customize any detail with the most flexible website editor out there. Rest easy knowing that your Wix site is backed by 99.99 uptime and enterprise-grade security. No add-ons required. Built so that you can own your individuality, create freely, and scale fearlessly. As I mentioned before, they have really cool AI capabilities. Wix is packed with some of the coolest, most useful AI features and agents built specifically for SMB so that you can grow your business without burning out. And that is a powerful statement. Generate unlimited images, website sections, product descriptions, and more. Automate email marketing, SEO tasks, inventory management, and more. Enjoy easy, fuss-free domain registration, web hosting also included. Powered by 280 plus million businesses around the world. They're not new to this. They're true to this. Start delivering AI solutions way before it was cool. Wix has been pioneering in website tech for almost 20 years. Sign up for free at Wix.com. That's Wix.com. Head on over to the description for more details. And we're back. Shout out to Wix again. More information on our sponsors. Wix will be available in the description. Shout out to all of you. I see a bunch of people. Hey, Coco Esquire says, I built my website with Wix. I just saw. Okay, Kathy Proctor says, I use Wix and it's awesome. I love that. I'm telling you, it was one of the first websites I ever used to build my website. And even back then, it was so easy. And now with AI, it could do so much. So again, more information on Wix will be available in the description. Thank you, Millie. Millie says, come on, sponsors and partnerships. I love it too, especially in this new year. Come on, money. All right, y'all. Anyway, back to our Real Housewives of Potomac recap. If you remember the channel, shout out to all the members. Hold on. Domily, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it. Domily Shepherd says, hey, longtime listener, but new member. Thank you so much for becoming a member. We appreciate it. It is a members only live chat members. I did drop Royal Court members and Senior Royals. I dropped the call link already for those of you that would like to call in and share your thoughts. And I will be dropping it for our Team Kempire members in just a moment. So let's get back to this because there's still a lot more to talk about in regards to the binder game that they were playing. All right. So Ashley reads what Wendy said about Kay. And she said that Kay was fake. Kay immediately responds, but my bags are real. Did you all, and look, this just could be editing, but did you see Wendy's face? I was like, was that just editing or was that really Wendy's face in that moment? Because her face was giving like, wait, has she brought fake bags onto the show before? I don't know. Did you guys notice that? Again, it could be the edit. But I thought that was interesting when Kay says, but my bags are real. And then when you think about what we're dealing with when it comes to the insurance fraud of it all. But here's the thing. She's not accused of having fake bags. She's accused of getting the real bag and sending it back. I don't know. Okay. Oh, Mr. Melody Magic said, and her picture frame was too. Damn. Not the picture frame. The V Life says, this game was messy, but I liked it. Yeah, it was definitely messy, and I liked it as well. Okay, but I saw it coming based off of the logistics of the game. Okay, so but here's the thing too. You see Ashley specifically trying to be messy, trying to produce. I told you you're going to see that throughout the season, and we're seeing it because she did not need to read what was under Kay's tab, but she did. She said, "I read it was fake," and she said, "But my bags are real." Okay, all right. So then Stacy is like, "Can I get the mic?" And she says, "Like, I just like to ask Kay, Wendy, why did you say that Kay was fake?" So Wendy basically says, she says it in a different way, but I'm going to say it in breaking the fourth wall way. Wendy says that Kay was different when the cameras were down, but now that the cameras are back up, now she has an issue with her. And she doesn't understand that. And she says that makes her fake. I would have to agree with that. I would have to agree. Because till this day, how many episodes, we're on episode 13, and she's done multiple interviews. There was a whole BravoCon. We still do not know the root of Kay's issues with Wendy Asefo. Have you figured out what the issue is? The issue shouldn't be that deep. Even if it was like, oh, I didn't like her, or she can be weird. She's not really a friend. What we've noticed this season, we saw it with Kay and her issues with Giselle. Kay is a high maintenance friend. She is someone that requires a lot. And people like that they're energy vampires. When you require that much from a friendship, it's not going to work. All right. So Wendy explains what she meant by that. Okay. So Angel says that Ashley is disappointing. Okay. Disappointing, strong mother, resilient, and petty. So then we find out that Angel ripped out a page from Ashley's book about her. And basically Ashley in her binder said that Angel was a catfish, not fully walking in her truth. So Angel responds in the moment. Angel Angel is sensitive, y'all, because I don't know if you guys paid attention. I paid attention. If you looked at the side of Angel's eye, she was tearing up. She was definitely tearing up. So Angel is sensitive. Again, this is when we talk about astrological signs. As a Pisces, I'm not surprised that she's sensitive. Okay. Does it make good for reality television? Well, we have quite a few Pisces on reality television. Okay. And water signs that are on reality television. So Angel gets upset. She's like, well, if you feel that way about me, if you feel like I'm not walking in my truth, then why do you want to come to my home? I agree. Why do you want to come to my home if you feel like I'm not standing in my truth? Did anyone notice? And again, this could be editing, but I don't think so. Ashley is frozen in time. Ashley is not saying anything. Ashley, you always getting crunk. You always got something to say. Why all of a sudden Ashley's like mute? Did anyone notice that? I'm just like, why? Ashley, say something. You always got this mouth. You always got something. You're always getting crunk. Okay? Why are you sitting there mute? When Angel finally says something, it's like, well, if you have such a problem with me, then why are you coming to my home? Why are you coming to my home? I was just like, good. Get her, Angel, finally. And so they start, it's like, so are you disinviting her? Wendy chimes in, so are you disinviting Ashley to your home? She's like, well, if she doesn't, feel like I'm walking in my truth, why would she want to be there? So then Giselle chimes in. She's like, well, if you're disinviting, if you're not inviting Ashley, then please don't invite me. Giselle says in her confessional, because she says that Ashley is her bestie. Since when? Okay, but whatever. They've been on the show a long time together. Maybe they're besties. Fine. So Giselle is just like, if Ashley's not going, I'm not going. Basically, Giselle knows, she feels empowered. If she doesn't go, that this trip is probably not going to happen, or production is going to make her go, or it's going to be lackluster, or it might be on the cutting room floor. So that she's trying to pull her weight as an OG. But you know what you should have did, Angel, in that moment? Well, then you don't have to come either. Well, you don't have to come either. Right? Fine. You don't have to come. Because at the end of the day, and I know there are some Giselle fans, please understand, if Giselle doesn't come, this is still going to be a good trip. If everyone else goes with Giselle and Ashley, I think so many people rely on Giselle and Ashley to be sort of like the carriers and the ish starters and things like that. No, let's have a trip without them. And if it's not good, then we won't ever see it. Because production will be like, yeah, that was a waste. But we already know that production is not going to let Angel host this trip, and Giselle and Ashley will not be there. Exactly. Even Danielle's a green eye bandit stan. She says Angel should have rejected Jizzy too. That would have been Giselle's face would have cracked. But she knows that Angel, we've seen it over the last few weeks. Angel wants Giselle's affection. She wants her protection. She wants her support. She wants all of it when it comes to Giselle. She wants Giselle's approval. So that's the only reason why she didn't, in that moment, she doesn't say, well, then you don't have to come either. Giselle's face would have cracked if Angel said that. Her face would have cracked. She's like, well, you don't have to come. Ain't nobody begging y'all to come to my house. But she doesn't do that. She doesn't do it. So Giselle says in her confession, she's like, well, if Ashley's not going, then I'm not going. Bye. You both are boring. You have nothing going on. Okay. T says that Angel wants to be in the group. She does. She definitely does. Thank you guys so much already for 700 likes. Keep liking the video. We have already 2,200 people watching on multiple platforms. Shout out to Facebook. Shout out to Twitch. Shout out to our YouTube fam as well. Miss Esquire, thank you so much for the super chat and Happy New Year to you. Miss Esquire says, Angel still has not understood that she is at work. These women don't have manners or couth. She needs to treat these get-togethers like Zoom calls. This is why I'm like, I kind of want to see Angel in a second season, but without Kiarna. But I can see Kiarna coming back, but not full-time, as a friend of. because if Angel comes back, I can see Kiana coming back. Zoe, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Zoe says, laughing out loud, Angel is annoying. When she's happy, everyone must clap. Clap. And when she's sad, everyone must be sad with her. I can't deal with her. Yeah, she's a bit of a Debbie Downer. She's a bit of a Debbie Downer. All right, let's move on. Let me take a sip from my coldest water bottle. Yeah, discount code still works. So go check it out. All right. Kempire 10, for those that didn't know. Oh, and I'm wearing my Are You Okay shirt. Okay, head on over to houseofkempire.com. Check out the description. All right. Are you okay? And they come in sweatshirts too. Shout out to everyone. A lot of y'all been getting that Are You Okay merch. I see that. I'm glad we made it, right? All right. Let's get back to this, guys. If you are just joining us, we're talking about the latest episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac. I will be live at 3 p.m. Eastern for our Married to Medicine recap. I have a lot of thoughts, a lot of thoughts on that episode. So we're going to get into it at 3 p.m. So I do want to get through the callers, but let me focus on this event. Okay. So Monique in this moment is confused because she's like, I didn't know that Angel and Ashley had any sort of issues. Ashley is sitting there mute after Angel says all this. Okay. So Angel reveals to Monique that Bobby didn't even want to go to this family event. Okay. But went to support her. And she says, in going to this event, that's when they decide to make it seem like she was evicted from her Airbnb. She hasn't called it an Airbnb. I'm calling it an Airbnb. Okay. All right. Wendy, then here's my thing with Wendy. Wendy tries to downplay some of what Ashley and Giselle have been doing. And she's just like, I wouldn't take what they're saying to heart. And on one level, I get where Wendy's coming from because she's really talking about the aspects of the show and what people have been saying that, Angel's just not, she doesn't have the tough skin to handle these type of women. Because she says that, Ashley says something to me all the time and I'm just like, yeah, whatever, girl, shut up. And on one level, I feel like Wendy, people would have said that to you a couple of seasons ago and you would have been mad at them. So I just feel like, yeah, you're saying that now because you don't like Angel. We can't forget that element, understandably, because of the relationship over the last few episodes. But at the same time, I thought it was very just interesting you saying that to her. Because Ashley calling her a catfish and inauthentic and blah, 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 as she's sitting there with that wig on top of her head. I'm like, girl, Ashley of all people needs to let it go. And Angel, I would never trust Ashley with your secrets. Okay? Let me see it. Miss Mellon Max says, I get what Wendy was saying, but it doesn't look good. Yeah, to me, it's like twofold. I get where Wendy's coming from, but at the same time, I'm like, girl. And maybe if Angel and Wendy were in a good place, she would have had a different perspective. Dina says, Wendy was telling her it's a game. Learn to play or leave. But that's the problem. And I think that's what's making people fall slowly out of in love with shows like Real Housewives or Real Housewives of Potomac specifically, because especially with Giselle saying at that recent event that she doesn't care about the show, she doesn't care about these people like that, she doesn't take this stuff seriously at all. It's taking away the authenticity of watching a show like that, and that's part of the reason why people can't feel connected to the show, because they're like, this is fake. None of this is real. None of these people are really friends. All right. Jamie says that as we talk about pick-me's, Wendy is no better. Very disappointed with her. I definitely think there's an element of that. Miss Esquire says Wendy has learned to play the game by the rules set by others. She has not set her own rules. Boom. I think that's exactly what it is. Giselle has set these rules as an OG. Ashley has set these rules. So she's like, I've learned to play the game. And that's what Giselle and Wendy are playing. They're playing, they don't like each other. Specifically, Giselle and Wendy. They don't like each other. They don't. They're just playing the game. And if anything, they just confirmed what I've been telling you about Giselle and her reunion with Wendy and her reunion with Monique. They're playing a game. They don't genuinely like each other. Chef Lorraine, thank you so much for the super chat. Chef Lorraine says, I wonder how regular Robin felt when Giselle called Ashley her bestie. I wonder too. I wonder too. I see that they did a podcast talking about Charisse. I'll talk about that in a separate video, y'all. Stay tuned for that. Miss Parker, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Miss Parker says, Wendy, are you okay? Those ladies came at you the same way for a few seasons and you took it seriously. Weren't you offended? That's the thing. But you know what makes me so... part of me feels for Wendy in this aspect because it's not like Angel has had her back during the season or has not sort of thrown her under the bus. It would have been interesting if Angel and Wendy were in a good place if she would have said that. I wonder, would she have said that? I don't know. Your fine ass auntie, thank you so much for the super chat, says, I'm always confused about folks who go up for Giselle. She is the worst OG. No fashion, no reads, no storyline, just green eyes and tacky clothes. Oh my gosh. I think... Here's the thing. We don't talk about this enough. Pretty privilege. A lot of people allow certain people because they deem them, because I'm not saying that people that people deem are pretty are actually pretty, and I'm not saying that Giselle isn't. That's a real thing. Some people allow people to get away with certain things and be iconic because they consider them good looking. It's just true. Okay. All right. Moving on from that, so Angel explains to Monique the issues that she's had. And Monique basically is just like, she's concerned with some of what Angel is revealing to her in regards to Bobby not wanting to be there because she starts to see, she says that she sees some of what she was going through with Chris Samuels in what's happening with Bobby. And she sees some of the ingredients, she said. Some of the ingredients of what she was going through with Chris Samuels. I don't, especially because you're just getting to know someone, and especially because you're saying this on a national platform. I don't think, and again, I move differently. I'm not a reality TV personality, so maybe that's why. I wouldn't put something out there about someone I barely know, and I don't know the dynamics of their relationship about someone's marriage like that. You don't know, and yes, you might see some similarities, but what? The one comment that she made that Bobby did not want to go to this event, rightfully so. I don't know if you've seen or heard what they've been saying about her on the show. So I didn't like that correlation to your now divorce situation. And it could, and look, a season from now, if Angel's still on the show, we might look at the relationship a little bit differently and go back to this moment and be like, oh, look, Monique was right. Or maybe not. I don't get that though. What I've seen, again, we're watching an edited show of Bobby. He dotes on Monique, not Monique, on Angel. He dotes on her, but it doesn't say. There are some moments with Bobby. I'm like, but you know, those moments are very much like the Todd father. Oh wait, they're getting divorced too. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong association, guys. You just joined us. We're talking about the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. Keep liking the video. It's easy and free. We have almost 2,400 people watching on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. So thank you. Don't forget, guys, you can watch us on Twitch, and it's higher quality in visual and audio. So make sure you're following us on Twitch, twitch.tv/TheKempire. But feel free to follow us here on YouTube as well. Subscribe. Can we get to 600,000 subscribers before the next quarter? Just saying, we're in a new quarter. Before we get to the next quarter, can we get to, because there are a ton of you that watch that are not subscribed, which is fine. We appreciate it. Ad revenue, okay. But you're missing out. You're missing out on posts. You're missing out on notifications. You're missing out when we go live. You're missing out on community posts and things like that. All right. Demi, thank you so much for the super chat. Demi, you have such a glow in your photo. Demi in the city says, Monique shouldn't have said that. Let's not put that out. Angel seems like a boss. You weren't, Monique. Oh, damn. Well, damn. D the Stallion. Is that your photo, D the Stallion? You on a horse? D the Stallion, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. D the Stallion follows us on TikTok as well. Shout out to you. Singer DST says, that's why I yell at the TV. Kendra says that Monique shouldn't project her marriage on others. Monique's marriage had many red flags, like her mother-in-law disrespecting her. Yeah, I mean, look, hey, Vicky Torres is watching on Twitch. Hey, Vicky. All right, let me move on from this event, because before this event ends, they tried to have a conversation, Ashley and Angel. After Wendy makes her comment about, oh, you shouldn't take to heart some of the things that they say. They've done it to me, and I'm just like, whatever, Ashley. So Ashley does apologize to Angel for using the word eviction. And Angel thanks Ashley and says, just don't use that word catfish anymore. Anyway, I think the catfish really is, I don't even think the eviction bothers her. I definitely think, no, maybe it does, because I think it's all ego, which is fine. Because ain't nobody wants you don't want anyone calling you a catfish. You don't want anyone saying that you got evicted, because the connotation that you got evicted, first of all, the catfish connotation meaning that you might be ugly than what you're presenting. The other connotation about eviction is that you're broke and that you didn't pay your bills. So I get it. But Ashley apologizes and Angel says, well, I accept your apology. I accept the genuine apology. But she was just like, but no more of using the word catfish. You know she's going to use that word again. Oh, Ashley. Speaking of catfish, sorry. I have to, because you saw the photo that Stacy's at home and she calls Angel, and everyone saw the photo. You see it, Mr. Melon Magic's profile picture. The picture that Stacy uses is a I wouldn't say Photoshop. Let's say face-tuned photo. I actually like that photo of Angel. Does it look exactly like her? Not necessarily exactly. You could definitely tell it's edited. Okay, it's edited. And nothing wrong with an edited photo. Girl, you like it, we love it. All right? So we see that moment. So Stacey just calls her to kind of ask her about the altitude and things like that. And what did you say about altitude? Fine. We get that little scene. So then we see the ladies traveling to Colorado. And these are the last few minutes. The last few minutes of the episode. So before we get to that, I'm going to drop the call-in link for our Team Kempire members, for those that want to call in and share their thoughts. I've already dropped it for our Royal Court members and Senior Royals. Thank you for your membership, and shout out to our members watching in, not the catfish photo. It would have been funnier if it was the actual photo that they showed during the season that they were saying was catfish, but it was another photo of her, okay? All right, so I dropped the call link for you guys there. Let me just look. Is anyone back? Oh yeah, we got a lot of people backstage. Shout out to our backstage folks. We appreciate you guys being Royal Court members and members in general and Senior Royals. We appreciate it. Thank you for your monthly support. All right. So the Colorado trip, we see the ladies at the airport. What is Wendy wearing? You're going to Colorado. And I don't believe, because we remember Wendy from her first season. I think Wendy wants to be a reality star. I think she wants to be a fashionista. Nothing wrong with it. But you're going to Colorado. What you can't, and you're flying. This is not a flying outfit, okay? But fine. She looks beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just like, you're going to Colorado. You can be inspired by Colorado and just make it fashion. But no, we're getting like a whole flowy moment, okay? But fine. So they get to Colorado and we see Angel there with her cowboy hat, her hand in her pocket. She's giving a whole aesthetic and she's like, hi, everyone. She's in a good mood. Everyone's like, Stacey's like, she must have taken one of my gummies, okay? So, because she seems so happy. But she's in her safe space. She loves Colorado. Her and Bobby seem to really love Colorado, okay? All right, so Wendy makes a really funny joke. I thought this was hilarious. Wendy says in her confessional, she's concerned about Angel wanting Stacey and Wendy in her car. And the other ladies are going in the other cars. And she's just like, I'm dressed for Saint-Tropez. and she's dressed for like the wilderness. And she's like, she could want to dump me in the woods. Because remember, they are not in a good space. So Wendy's sort of like, all of this love that she's putting on me it's feeling a little weird. Okay? It's feeling a little weird. But she's like, you know what? If anything, she knows she can run faster than Stacy, and she and that Angel will get Stacy first, probably. And then they flash back to Stacy doing the games at the family fun day. Okay? So moving on from there. So they're in the car, and Wendy's just sort of like, okay, she's like, you guys are gonna have really good rooms. I can't say if everyone's going to have good rooms, but you guys are gonna have really good rooms. And then she says, you know, Wendy, I really like you. I really like you. And I know we need to have some conversations, but I really like you. Anyone else was thrown off by that? Wendy's just like, I really like me too. I don't blame for Wendy keeping the same energy, because where did this new energy come from? You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay. Wendy says that Angel is inundating her with love, but she says that it's too late. Is it too late? I don't think it's too late, but maybe it's too late for right now. Okay. So Giselle is in one car, and she jokes with Kay. She's telling Jazzy, she's like, oh yeah, so she says that Angel was evicted. She's like, so Angel was evicted, and Kay's like, she was not evicted. Let's get this out right now. Giselle says that Angel has a huge shoes to fill because she did such a great job with the Nevis trip. We have to keep in mind, they're not planning these trips. At this particular point, their big group trip was Nevis, out of the country. Giselle did not plan that. That was all production. Okay. If anything, Giselle planned it like, oh, when y'all do the robes and stuff, don't do Stacy's. Don't put her name on Stacy's. I think it'll be a funny moment. Okay. So she says she has huge shoes to fill because she did such a good job with that trip. Okay. All right. Monique says that she sees similarities. As I mentioned before, she mentions that she sees similarities with, she mentions this to Ashley of all people, that I don't know if you guys heard Angel at the event about Bobby not wanting to be at the event. And then that's when Monique says that she sees similarities in Angel's marriage to the one that she was in. Okay. Ashley says that she was under the impression that they were staying with Angel. So they finally arrive at this space. I guess another Airbnb. They explain in the after show, Angel explains that this was high season that they went there. So it was hard to find accommodations for them that was near her home, because we find out later on, apparently, I can't go by Giselle. Angel said it was an hour away. Giselle was like, it was more like an hour and a half away. Maybe it was, but it was definitely far. An hour is still far. Okay. Dina says Nevis was boring besides the hotel. Well, damn. So Ashley, as they're walking in, she's like, I thought we were staying at Angel's house. This is not Angel's house. So they're going to ask Angel about that a little bit later on. So Monique asks Angel why. Asks Angel why aren't they staying at her house? So Angel awkwardly answers. She's like, because just because space. I'm just like, I feel like that's the thing with Angel when she responds to things. It makes me wonder, like, wait, is there more to this? Because if it was just space, wouldn't you just say, there's 15 of you guys. I don't have 15 bedrooms, and I don't have enough to accommodate everyone. But they apparently were under the impression that they were going to stay at her house. I mean, I don't remember how many bedrooms from the Homeworthy that she has, but I don't know why they would think that they were all going to stay at the house. Monique probably would have thought that, maybe because remember when Monique hosted, she had them all at her house, but they weren't. They all had complaints too. So Monique was a little confused. She's like, well, why are we not staying at your house? Angel's like, just because, it's not enough space. So Giselle says she doesn't understand separating the group. So they all had their little reactions. Stacy has her reaction. She's like, I thought this was supposed to be a bonding trip. Well, I thought this was supposed to be a bonding trip. So apparently, in the after show, Angel reveals that originally this trip to Colorado was supposed to be a couples trip. So initially, you guys were not going to bring Giselle and Ashley because they're not a couple. And I'm confused as to, was it supposed to be a film trip? Was it just going to be Stacy, certain people coming out to Colorado to do that? Deborah says, does the film crew stay as well? No. The film crew does end up leaving at some particular point, even at the other spaces. So I'm sure they were probably staying at another space that's probably like an hour away too. I'd be interested to know where they were staying. First of all, we have to keep in mind it's already hard enough to find a space to accommodate filming, to accommodate the women. So I can imagine. So we have to think about that as a double fold because she talked about this in the after show, Angel. It was high season in Colorado, so it was already hard enough to find a place near her place. And then you're talking about filming and working within that aspect, so you got to get approved for that. So all of those elements, and of course, she can't necessarily say that on camera. So that could also be her awkwardness in responding to that. You know what I mean? All right. Thank you guys so much. We have quite a few super chats behind the scenes. Thank you so much, D the Stallion, for another super chat. D says Kay was halfway like Abel this episode. Wait. Oh, likable. This episode. Was she? She was when we'll get to that moment. Tish, thank you so much for the super chat. Tish says the day I found that Apollo and Phaedra lied on Kenya was the day I stopped taking these shows seriously. Now I pretend it's a soap opera. Angel needs to learn the game if she wants to play. Well, I'm glad you don't take it seriously. I still take this show somewhat seriously. Thank you so much, Miss Esquire, for another super chat. Miss Esquire says, I didn't hear an apology. I heard, I'm sorry, a word I used was one you didn't respond well to. Ashley can kick rocks in open socks. I thought the same thing, but Angel took it. Angel was just like, I appreciate that genuine apology. I was like, really? Okay, girl. She wants to be accepted, though. Tyrese, thank you so much for the super chat. Tyrese says, I can't get past how G&A did Chris Bassett. I found it so egregious. I was just talking about this the other day in one of the videos that we were talking about Potomac. I know she's quote playing the game, but it's tough seeing Wendy mingle with them. It's true. I'm like, were you guys okay with that? With Wendy, were you okay with that when she was doing that to your buddy? Fashion Avenue to you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says, Happy New Year, Kemp. Replay gang. Random, but funny how Bravo likes to only include Watch What Happens Live as an episode on the non-black shows. Salt Lake City and Beverly Hills, but Married to Medicine and RHOP can stand on its own. Interesting. You're right. Very interesting. Rose with a Harvey, thank you so much for being a member. Oh, thank you for the 20 euros. That's even more than $20 when you do the oh wait, no, it's less. Look, damn. But still, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate your support. All right, y'all. We're almost at 1,000 likes, and I think we definitely should get to 1,000 likes before I drop the call link for the general audience. But if you're a member, I've already dropped the call link on the community tab. But we're not done with the episode because we find out Angel's house is about an hour away. The group is like, an hour away? Lord have mercy. That's really far. Okay. So then they do the room assignments, and the first room is Stacy's room. And for me, Stacy had the best room. Even better than Dr. Wendy Acefo's. All right. So and she had a welcome gift with her name on it and everything. Okay. So Wendy says that everyone look at Kay because when they're in Stacy's room, Kay is just like, because when she got up from the table, because remember, Angel warned them like your normal one drink in Colorado is 2 drinks. So when Kay gets up, she gets a little like, she's like, oh, wait a minute, that really hit me. So when they're in Stacy's room, Wendy's like, look at Kay, because Kay just looked like she was like in another world. And then she starts crying, and she's like, she doesn't know why she's crying. So they also, to me, that was one of the funniest moments of the episode, because poor Kay was just like, I don't know why I'm crying. She's like, leave me alone, Wendy. It was funny. It was a very funny moment. Okay. So Angel gives Ashley and Giselle their room assignment, which it's the room with the two twin beds. And Giselle's like, I'm not even going in there because I won't be in there. Okay. And funny enough, we find out in the after show that Ashley ends up staying with Wendy in the lower level, because you saw the lower level had another bed, another bunk bed. So we find out in the after show that Ashley and Wendy ended up sharing space down there, and she said they actually had like a nice bonding moment down there. Okay. Um, Foxy Feline says, "Why was Kay crying though?" I don't know. I think she was having like a weird moment. I think she was just feeling kind of maybe high from between the medication, the altitude, and the alcohol. The alcohol probably just hit her. She was just like, I can only imagine. Like now it makes me worried about going to Colorado. I'm like, not that I drink, but still, like the effects of the altitude. Oh yeah, I thought that was funny. Stacy's commentary. She's like, they don't have trees in Baltimore, and then she said, and they say that I'm weird about Kiara. Those little moments from Stacy, if y'all not paying attention, you're going to completely miss it. So thank you for reminding me. Stacy says to Kiara, they don't have trees in Baltimore. She's like, maybe it's the trees. And then they walk out of the room, and then Stacy's just like, and they say I'm the weird one. Yes, Stacy, get her. Get her. All right, so Angel shows this room that has two twin beds, and she says that you said that you wouldn't come on this trip without Ashley, so you guys can share a room. And Giselle's like, yeah, I'm not going in. I'm not even going in there because I won't be in there. What we find out in the after show, you know who ends up in that room is Monique. Monique ends up in that room because she's like, oh, I like the view. So she didn't care. And Monique is small, so she doesn't care about a twin bed. I wouldn't have cared about a twin bed either. I'd be like, whatever. We're filming, we're working, we're not going to be in the rooms like that. We're just sleeping in the rooms. We said this before, okay? If it was me on a real vacation, it would be different. I'm not, but again, I pay for my own stuff, or I wouldn't be staying there. If it really meant that much to me, I would already be figuring out alternatives. So Giselle does not end up staying in that room. Giselle says in the after show, she's like, oh, that happened in season 1. She basically was saying that Angel was just copying from season 1. I will say this. I get it, what Angel was trying to do, but was it a big moment that hasn't been done before? Yeah, it was cute in the moment. It was a nice get back, but it wasn't original. I'm going to be honest. Okay. Ari says, I'm 27. I care about a twin bed. I couldn't care less. But that's me. Sidra says that was petty, but it was a little too late, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think it landed the way that she thinks that it landed. And she was so happy about it. And Monique was like, girl, just lean into it that it was shade. Just lean into a shade. She was like, okay, maybe it was shade. And she gives Jazzy a high five. So she felt really good about that. And they were like, Monique was like, it was her get back. And just like, her get back for what? Her get back for what? She was like, the eviction comment. Well, she was like, it was an eviction. So here comes Giselle. Giselle's like, I got a little bit more information about that. So Giselle's leaning into the fact that it was actually an eviction. And as she's coming up the stairs, Angel says like, what are you talking about? She's like, this is not an eviction. It was not an eviction. All right. D, the Stallions that is looking for, if you go to my YouTube page and you go to under the post tab, you'll see the link for members to call in. So Angel confronts Giselle. She's like, what are you talking about? It was not an eviction. And she's like, I got a little bit more information on that. So now Angel sits them down, and this is a to be continued. She's like, what information? Y'all not going to come to my house and with this negative energy, basically, and you're talking about an eviction still. Like, what information do you have? If you have information about it, tell me right now. And I want to know too, like, what is this new information that Giselle has? And it better not be like, oh, you just moved here to be on the show. It better be more than that. What was this eviction? And it better be more than what Wendy told you. Well, Wendy told me that you basically wanted a home that looked like it was $50,000 and you only wanted to pay $2,000 to $3,000 for it. If that's the tea, Giselle, you have nothing. It's still nothing. Because at the end of the day, I would look. I want an apartment that looks like $50,000, but I don't want to pay that. I want my apartment to look like $50,000. I want my house to look like it's $1,000,000, but I don't want to pay it, especially for y'all. If we're gonna be honest, all right. All right. So that's how the episode ends. Next week we'll talk more about the Colorado trip because they'll be fully on their way. We only got a little brief moment of the Colorado trip. So we'll talk more about it. Guys, don't forget you can also hear our recaps and special episodes in the Kempire podcast. Subscribe today on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Make sure you give us a 5-star review if you haven't already. That helps in regards to promoting the podcast. And sometimes I add additional thoughts and additional content and exclusive content on the podcast. And we just did a special Hot Topics Roundup podcast episode 2. So be sure to check that out, where I talk about the Mary Cosby documentary and it featuring my content without letting me know. So then there's that. All right. Let me say thank you. We had quite a few. Thank you guys so much for all the super chats. And we're almost at 1,000 likes. Once we get to 1,000 likes, I will drop the call link for the general audience. Demi, thank you so much for the super chat. Demi says, also, Monique, nothing is near the Denver airport. I believe it's due to the fact that it's sacred native burial ground. Oh. Okay. Joyce, thank you so much for the super chat. Joyce says, I'm glad Angel shut Ashley up. I just wish that she would have called Giselle's bluff. Can't wait to see you March 13th in New York City. Got my VIP tickets already. Thank you, Joyce. Yes, guys, don't forget the Kempire After Dark, a live show where we talk about topics like this, but explicitly, and drop tea. And if you guys have tea, that's where you can drop tea as well. That's happening on March 13th, Friday, March 13th at the Green Room 42. There's a live stream option. So even if you are in another part of the world, you'll be able to watch this show as well. Get your tickets today. Ticket information is available in the description. Thank you, Joy. See you on March 13th. Before you know it, it'll be March 13th. Ariana, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. So do you think production made Ashley and Giselle get that room surprised Angel would do that? Wait, do you think that production made Ashley and Giselle get that room? Surprise Angel would do that. I could see it being a collaboration. I definitely could see it being a collaboration. Fast forward, we find out they don't end up staying in that room. Monique ends up staying in that room because she says she liked the view. M Lofo, thank you so much for the super chat. Says Angel, finally, yes, Giselle was so irritated and I loved it. That's the thing too. Giselle saying that, oh, well, I'm not stepping foot into that room. So you gave more bothered than Stacy, who was a newbie, and you guys try to haze her with that terrible room. And she's like, I've always loved bunk beds. That's how a real OG should respond to stuff like that. You responded in a way, your face cracked when you saw that room. I don't know why you were surprised. I don't know why. Okay. Millie, thank you so much for the super chat. Millie says Stacy had very little screen time and still managed to get the biggest chuckle out of me. Can't wait to see you at the show. Thank you, Millie. Millie's coming to the show on March 13th too. Thank you, Millie. You're right. Stacy's here to stay. Stacy is here to stay. Speaking of here to stay, don't forget, guys, I'll be live again at 3 p.m. Eastern for our Married to Medicine recap. I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts and a lot of opinions, so make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and your notifications are on. The link is now available. If you are a member, I have dropped the call-in link for you guys. Once we get to 1,000 likes, I will drop the call-in link for the general audience. Okay. Everyone that's backstage, members, you're getting 30 seconds. We're giving you 30 seconds because I got to get out of here by 2 o'clock, okay? So that I can rewatch Married to Medicine. All right. Let me see. Let me open up backstage. All right, Miss Esquire's backstage. Keep in mind, the opinions of the callers do not represent the opinions of myself, the Kempire LLC, or our sponsors, and everything that they say is alleged. Okay? And they agree to abide by the timer and not to use derogatory language or profanity. Okay? Miss Esquire, what did you want to share?
Good morning, good afternoon, happy new year.
You too.
All I want to share with you is that Greg is still in his lawsuit with his ex-wife, and I just want you to know that he did file a response to her motion to modify legal custody, and they have a hearing in March. So it's both about compelling him to pay for the children's tuition, which I don't know if he's done, and about modifying legal custody. Kay is not getting the ring. This man has too much going on. He's still not done with his ex-wife. They got too much going on. Kay ain't getting no ring. That's all.
Wait, I'm keeping you here longer. Um, how do you feel though with him going on this show and acting like he's spending this money and he's giving her cash for this and he's shopping for $100,000 ring? As if you were his attorney, would you? What
If
would
I
you
was
think?
his attorney, I would not love it at all. But as her attorney, I love every part of it. Please keep buying more expensive gifts for your little girlfriend. Please talk about buying her a condo, because if you got money to do all of that, you definitely got money to go to my babies, and you definitely got money to pay for the things that they need to do. So I love it. Now, what I think is very interesting is these children never come up in the context of Kiana and Greg's conversations. You
Mm,
moved back into a home with Greg, and there's no conversation about how y'all are going to handle him having full legal custody and 50-50 joint custody visitation with his kids.
mm,
Like, I think it's weird, and it only makes me think that maybe there's some type of gag order
mm.
between, or agreement between him and his ex-wife, that they will not talk about these children on this show and they will not discuss them. But
Yeah.
there is no mention of the fact that this man has three children, and that is
Mm,
very strange to me. When Kiana is talking about building a life with this man, she never talks about herself in the context of being a bonus mother to these children, what kind of family dynamic they want to build, whether they want children themselves to add. Like and it's like Kiana is fake, not for the reasons that Wendy said, but
yeah.
for a lot of other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Also, did you watch the first 6 minutes of the next episode?
No, I didn't get a chance to see it. Why?
Okay, so we can't talk about it because it is exactly what you said
Oh.
happens with Angel and them. And the real estate agent who Wendy talked to, she should be very concerned, because if you signed a realtor agreement and you breached that confidentiality, baby, I will be reporting you to the real estate association with the quickness. But I'm a Virgo. Again, we don't get mad, we get even. So, I don't know what Angel gonna do. She a Pisces. She probably gonna cry about it.
Poor Pisces. Look, I meant to watch it too, but I was so trying to watch the after show. But we'll talk about that next week. So basically, call me Miss Cleo then.
Yeah, basically. Okay,
Okay, all right.
bye.
Thanks, Miss Esquire. Miss Esquire, I got extra time because you saw she brought us, because she's been the one spilling the tea in regards to what Greg is really going through when it comes to his custody situation. So she's been checking out the legal docs. So she gave us a full update on that. So that's interesting. All right, we're gonna move on. Again, we're giving everyone 30 seconds so that we can get to everyone. We just hit over 1,000 likes. For everyone, once you make your statement, drop out so everyone else can go call in. I'm gonna drop the call in link now for the general audience. All right, O'Shea's backstage calling from South Africa. O'Shea, what's going on?
Hey, Kempire. I just want to say this. I have a lot more grace and patience for Angel, because 90% of this fan base is acting like the women on this cast all knew what they're doing when they signed up on the show.
Mm.
No one here delivered on arrival, especially not Wendy. Wendy only learned to play the game last season.
Ooh.
She spent 4 years crying, weaponizing, lying, doing all the things, and now is quick to sit and hold hands with Giselle and Ashley, which is, I mean, she really just is Sutton without the money. The
Ooh.
self-esteem is extraordinary. But yeah, I think that's just my 2 cents, and I like Stacey. But
Okay.
yeah, but thanks, Kempire.
Thanks, O'Shea. And O'Shea made me think to myself that the only person that really came in as a newbie and did well was Stacy. So that of all the people that have come on this show, she has probably been the only one to handle it like that. To be honest with you, and maybe a Karen Huger. Yes, Karen Huger has lied a lot over the years, but she lied in a way that you never saw her sweat. But that's a Taurus. That's why I keep saying I think Stacey has a very bright future on this show. She knows how to play the game. I'm not saying that she's 100% honest, but she knows how to play the game. She's learned. She's studied. Aries. All right. Angel's backstage. We'll bring Angel up next. Angel W., what's going on?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
So I think Giselle was lying Ashley is not her best friend. Her and Ashley have an alliance and an allegiance just to save their jobs because they offer nothing.
Mm.
And Wendy was a part of that until Pam Oliver saved her job for next season. And then, what was I gonna say? Oh, Monique, her event was kind of dry. Like her, she's not fully healed. She's just pretending to be healed. She kind of took bits and pieces of her healing journey, and she's choosing what she wants to use to say she's healed, but she's not. She has a lot more work to do. So, Monique, I do not want to see her back next season. Thank you for your services again, but bye bye again.
Ooh, thanks,
That's
Angel.
it.
Take
Bye,
care.
Kim.
Bye. Hmm. Okay, replay crew. I want to know your thoughts as well. Happy New Year, replay crew. I want to know your thoughts, and in the live chat, I want to know your thoughts as well. Do you want to see Monique come back? How do you feel about Monique so far this season? I'm okay with Monique this season. She's not offering a lot, but I'm okay. We got our full update. I don't think we need her to come back next season, especially if she's just going to be, falling in line. All right, let's bring up Nota Queen. Nota Queen, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
I say number one, I don't like Monique back because she on here lying, and she already said she like the friend of position, and it's because she gets to control the narrative a lot better than if she's a full-time housewife. That lady's not healed. We all know that, but I do think that Angel's room assignment landed because Giselle was bothered. She was exceedingly
Good
bothered. She
point.
even on the after show, she was jumping out of her seat almost. That was so season one. That lady was bothered. So yeah, it did land. And on that note, Giselle is declassing the show because all of these women never come into themselves until they're ready to tell. Everybody's too pressed to kiss the ring. Even when you said Monique was better in the binder moment, it's because she was off of her knees for Giselle. They all need to get up.
Yes. Exactly. And I think if Angel did the same in that moment during the binder situation, and she's just like, oh, if you don't want, you don't have to come either. I think we would have been like, oh, what?
Exactly. Everybody get up.
Yeah.
Take them heads off. Have a good one.
Thanks, Nota Queen. But I think they feel like if Giselle doesn't come, then it's not going to be a filmed scene. I think they would have still invited Giselle, but Giselle would have been in another house. All right. El My Bell is backstage. El My Bell, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey.
And this episode of Karen is Watching from Home, I just wanted to say, I started off with Kay's billboard, and I said, you know what, to start off 2026, it'd be great. I hope one day you have Kempire, your image in the Jumbotron in Times Square.
Yes, come on now.
Yeah, and just Giselle said they had never been split up. Yes, they did. Williamsburg trip. Candace had them in the house and had Karen and Wendy and the other lady, I forget her name, in the other place. And then also Wendy had Giselle and Robin in a double room with twin beds when she took them to Annapolis. So yes, this was done before. And I just wanted to add that in, but I hope everyone has a happy new year.
You too. Thanks, L.Y. Bell. She did that in 30 seconds. That's perfect. See, 30 seconds is all y'all need. Okay. All right. Toya's backstage. Toya, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, how are you?
How are you?
Good. What the heck was Wendy wearing to go to Colorado? Girl, Colorado is usually like, I mean, the weather is really up and down. You kind of have to wear layers. But girl, you was definitely just like you was going to San Tropez, not Colorado. And I'm excited to see if Angel gets her footing. Like, let the ladies know, but you do need to bring them to your house. You need to also show off, let them know that they are in your territory and that you are running things in Colorado. So get some, boss about yourself, girl, and try to gain some favor back with the crowd.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for calling in, Toya.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Oh, I didn't even put the timer on. Toya did that. So, all right. Nia's backstage. Nia, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
So I loved the scene with Tia and her sister. I thought it was so kind of that adorable white family to allow them to do that. I think overall the episode was like 8 out of 10. It's as if like it was filmed in real time because Angel finally located her backbone. No shade to Jazzy, but I did notice her makeup in the car. Was she applying it because I think she needed to blend more or perhaps apply a slightly darker concealer? And also Kempire, just this is so random, but as a Muslim, I was honestly disgusted by Zoran's inauguration. He actually swore with his left hand on the Quran, which is a huge no-no. That's supposed to be used to wipe your behind. And yeah, I just felt like that should be said, especially since he ran his whole campaign of being the first Muslim mayor, at least demonstrate, the basics of it.
Oh.
Sorry.
Thanks, Nia. All right. Let's bring up Tyler next. Tyler, what's going on?
Hey, Kempire. So real quick, Kiana did an interview and I watched, I forgot who it was, and she did speak on the children. So I do think that they can't talk about them on the show.
Yeah.
Last but not least, I think Giselle is doing for Ashley what she was doing for Robin. Like, we're cool. I'm gonna try to carry you on the show and keep you here because I think this would have been Ashley's last season.
Mm,
Last season would have been her last season had Karen not got in trouble.
mhm.
And quick prediction. I don't think Karen's gonna want to come back. I think a lot of people think she's coming back. I think she's in a different place and she's not gonna want to come back. But I do
Mm,
see them getting rid of Ashley next season. And I don't think that I think Angel will not want to come back on her own. That's all.
Thanks, Tyler. Um, that's interesting. I think I will have a better idea because I know a lot of people keep asking whether or not they think, or I think Karen Huger will come back next season. And I definitely think she's coming back next season. But it will be interesting to see her one-on-one with Andy Cohen and whether or not she really has healed and maybe she does have a different perspective. Because remember, one of the reasoning for her excuses for what she did was being an important, having a leadership role on this show. And maybe after not being on the show for the like how many probably like almost a year, maybe she does have a different perspective. I don't know. I will say I do miss some of Karen's, Karenisms. Just saying. All right. Toya says Karen needs the money. Good Girl says that she needs the money. Maybe. And I'm sure they're going to pay her a lot to return. And it's an easy check. She probably makes nearly $1 million, if not over $1 million, being on this show. All right. All right. And if not, she should be. Okay. All right. Taurus with the T's backstage. We're going to bring up next. Taurus with the T, what did you want to share?
Hey, Camp.
Hey.
Just wanted to say, I think that Ashley is jealous of Angel. The way how she just keeps coming at her with the whole catfish thing.
Mm,
Girl, that was an old joke that Giselle told at the beginning of the season. You could let it go now. And I wish that Angel would have clocked both of them over the head and say, you know what, actually, I don't want any of you in my house, so you guys are not going to get a room. And Giselle, does it not speak volumes that you've been on 3 trips and you've been coupled up with Robin twice and now Ashley? You are not as important as you think you are. And the last thing that I wanted to say was that I really feel at the very beginning when Wendy was doing the commencement speech, I felt such pity. Girl, look at what you started off the
mm,
season doing and look at how we're going to end.
right?
Such tragedy.
Mm.
Bye, Camp.
Thanks, Taurus with the T. All right. There were a couple of comments that I saved. Patricia says Karen is fame hungry. She was at BravoCon. And that's another reason why I believe she'll be back. If she really wasn't, and again, that's another check. Going to BravoCon. Also, ego. A lot of these housewives love this. Okay. So I really feel like Karen is coming back next season, y'all. And the one-on-one is just a soft launch. Pageant Mommy says, from an HR perspective, I would not want to rehire Karen for her blaming the show for her alcoholism. And I think part of them probably forgiving her for that would be doing this one-on-one. If she didn't do the one-on-one, then yeah, I think that would be a wrap for Karen. Tish, based on what I heard, the tea that I heard is that these OGs felt the absence of Karen, and they felt like, and you see in the after show where Giselle says like, she felt like people weren't bringing it, and she says, when Monique came around, she's like, she knows that Monique is going to give her, some sort of spark, some sort of fever, because she felt like the people that were currently there were not doing that. Tish, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Wait, VIP ticket? Did I buy the wrong tier? Mine says ringside and meet. No, you got no. That's VIP, Tish. That's VIP. I'm bougie. I want the VIP. That is VIP. That is VIP. Come on, Tish. VIP is just basically the meet and greet. Okay. Just I want the VIP experience. And also depending on where you're sitting too. Depending on where you're sitting, that's like the premiere or something like that. But you said ringside, so that's definitely. Tish, what is your side again, Tish? Because that sounds very touristy. All right, Miss Esquire, thank you so much for the super chat. Miss Esquire says for another super chat, Big Sister. what did I tell y'all about this? We'll forever have these girls on. So Big Sister Giselle will forever have these girls in line. They never they never crossing the burning sands into RHOP land. Yeah. I mean, unless you're Stacy. I feel like Stacy is doing that. All right. Let's get to some more callers, guys, and then we're going to wrap this up. I will be live again at 3 p.m. Eastern, so in about an hour and 20 minutes here to recap Married to Medicine, so make sure that you are locked in. Thank you to our mods that are holding us down in the chat. We appreciate them. Happy New Year to them, and Happy New Year to our members, those of you that have been members and that have become members. We appreciate it. All right. Maloney says, not ringside. That's what they call the stage. Like ringside is like very close to the stage. Ringside. We're not fighting, right? We're not fighting. All right. April Aries is backstage. What's going on, April Aries?
Hi, Kempire. Happy
Hey.
New
You
Year and Happy
too.
New Year chat. Thank you. I feel indifferent about Monique coming back next season because I enjoyed her, but I feel like she's being like fake, especially towards Stacy, because you know how these women are. And even though I don't see it for Angel, she did give it to Giselle because Giselle was like coming out of character, like, oh, I'm not staying in this room. I'm grown. Okay, but yeah, you're going to be grown in wherever I put you. And this episode was like a little bit lackluster. It didn't pick up until the end of the episode. And I hope Tia gets clocked because she was the one that started this whole idea, if you remember from the last episode, about spilling her business to Whitney and Ashley and Giselle. Have a good day, Kempire. Yeah, remember?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Thanks, April
Have
Aries.
a good day, guys.
You too. Bye. Yeah, I guess we'll have to see at the reunion if they bring this stuff up. I hope they're ready for the reunion. I hope, first of all, I don't doubt that Angel and Kiana are going to look amazing at the reunion. And I don't doubt, I just have some doubts that they're going to bring it though. Because how do you bring it if you don't have the receipts and you don't say the things? You know what I mean? I hope Monique brings it when it comes to her reunion look, because I haven't been loving her. I mean, luckily she has a face card. I haven't been loving the fashions from Monique this season, but normally she's brought it to the reunions, and I know Riley Knox has done a few of her reunion looks, so I hope, fingers crossed, I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to look like. And Riley has done, shout out to Riley. Riley has done a couple of Ashley's reunion looks. I think she's even done a reunion look for Karen Huger too, if I recall. So we shall see. All right, Cynthia's backstage. We're gonna bring Cynthia up next. Cynthia, what's going on?
Hey, Kempire, how you doing?
How are you?
I'm good. A couple of things. I think that her beef with Wendy, is it probably because she's trying to show support to Karen? I'm thinking that could be it.
Maybe.
And also, I do think that Wendy will be back, and I think that Ashley will be back too, because I think it'll be Wendy versus Ashley next season, and Wendy has a uphill battle for her. I feel sorry for her. And that's it, Kempire.
Thank you, Cynthia, for calling in. Take care. I think Cynthia might be right, because you may have seen a recent interview that Ashley did, and she said basically the apology that she gave to Wendy at BravoCon really was for her kids, not for Wendy. For the comments that she made after Wendy was arrested. Okay. I can't wait, Ashley. LW is backstage. LW, what did you want to share about the latest episode of Real Housewives of Potomac?
Hey, Kempire, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to the chat. Real quick, I just want to give Angel maybe like a B- for effort this episode, because I can appreciate her defending herself, but I'm not gonna lie, the bar is in hell with the shade. So I will at least say I can again appreciate her defending herself, but the best quick-witted shade person right now on the show is Stacy, and I love her. Love her down. I think she's going to give us a show at the reunion, and I'm looking forward to it. That's it.
Thanks, LW. Take care. Happy New Year. All right. We're going to get to some more calls, but I see that we have a couple of super chats. Thank you, Teach. I got to give you a shimmy because you've sent how many super chats? Look, you sent some. Let me shimmy. And yes, guys, you can get your Are You Okay t-shirts at thehouseofkempire.com. Head on over to the description for more details for all of our sponsor stuff and everything. T says, I'm a Capricorn, but Earth sign, but my husband is a Taurus. He has definitely rubbed off on me. It doesn't help that he's Nigerian and extremely bougie. I love that for you. I love that for you, Tish. And I will see you in New York, March 13th for the Kempire After Dark live show. Republic of Story, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Republic says, did Angel quit or stop posting the show promos? I wouldn't be surprised. Based off of some of the things that she said on socials over the last few weeks, I wouldn't be surprised that she may have decided not to return. Does she really need the show? Her ego probably wants the show, but does she need the show? Probably not. Probably not. And then to buy a house for a show, I do, part of me, yes, she's from the DMV, but I do feel like she was probably buying a house or attempting to buy a house as a storyline and for the show. I don't know if she really, I know she claims that she's been talking to Kiarna about buying a place in the DMV for a while because she would like to raise her kids there. But I don't know if you want to really raise your kids there. I think you want to raise your kids in Colorado, the place that you love, right? Oh, Good Girl says, I'm a Taurus married to a Capricorn. Are y'all saying I need to get back with a Capricorn? Capricorns are based on what they've said, are an ideal match for Taurus. I've dated a Capricorn before. It didn't work out, though. I was bored. And if he ever sees, he's going to be like, damn. Well, it's the truth. All right. Ariel's backstage. Ariel, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire. Sorry you caught me after I was just chewing on some chips, but
okay. What kind of chips?
Yes. They were sour cream and onion. I was very, very happy about that.
Oh, okay. What's going on?
Well, I just wanted to say I was actually very pleased with Angel towards the end of the episode. I do think, just like kind of how she has delayed responses, she had a delayed comeback, but did it hit just a little bit? And I think she did have Giselle squirming just a bit. You said you wouldn't come without her, so I figured y'all wanted to be together. It's so facto. Here's your twin beds in this room.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Giselle has any space or time to say or be mad about it because she's the first person to give somebody that she does not like a bad room or the smallest room or try to do things like that to showcase her superiority over the group or the hierarchy. But that's all I had to say. I hope you brought in the new year on a good note, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, Ariel. You too. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
I like her voice. Yeah. Assets says, you have a Leo moon. I do. You don't do boring, Kempire. That must be it. That's why I tell you, it's important to know your birth chart. It's very important to know your birth chart because maybe any other Taurus, like the ones we have in the chat, a Capricorn would be ideal. And I will say, in dating a Capricorn, I saw a lot of similarities down to our dishes. We had like the same dishes. I'm like, damn. But okay. Hey, Rita. Shout out to Rita. Rita sent me, because, look, as an adult, someone that doesn't celebrate, I celebrate Christmas, but meaning like I don't get a lot of Christmas gifts and things like that. Rita sent me a care package, and Rita is a Taurus like me. So she really understands what a Taurus would want. And she sent me this really beautiful care package of different little things that I really, really loved. And some of those things were from Amsterdam, because I love Amsterdam as well. So Rita, thank you so much for that. Rita, thank you for being a member, and thank you for the super chat. Rita says, I watched this live until my husband stormed in, insisting on us doing some YouTube beginners yoga moves and hit workout with him. I need Ashley and Giselle off my screen. Look, Rita, you got to be healthy. Come on now. I haven't done a hit workout in a long time, though. I haven't done because HIIT apparently like that will burn calories for hours and hours as opposed to regular cardio. But the yoga moves will be really good because yoga moves will stretch your body out. That reminds me, for those that don't know, we're doing a challenge here on our YouTube, but you don't have to be a part of the YouTube. You can do the challenge, but check the YouTube post tab. We're doing these, what is it? Sit-ups, crunches, squats challenge. So we're on day 5. So who's doing it with me? Let me know in the chat. And if you're part of the replay, it's not too late to join. Thank you, Rita. Sage, the Sag, thank you so much for the super chat. Sage says, love Wendy, but it's sad to see her buddy with GNA, just to see how they do her after the arrest. Shaking my head. And Kempire, you're always right. Don't judge a housewife too early because Angel ate this episode. See? I'm still holding out on Angel. Like I need to see her a little bit longer. We have 1,111 likes. I love 1111. All right. Oh, Rita says I lasted 1 minute of the hit. I mean, if you've never done it before, it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to doing hit. I remember during the pandemic, I did a lot of hit exercises. I did a lot. Okay. Arjun is backstage. We want to take these last couple of calls and then I'm going to get out of here. Arjun, what's going on?
Hello, Kempire. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, I want to say this. Do you also think Kiana had hay fever? Because to me, it looked like Kiana had hay fever.
Oh, like an allergy attack?
Yeah, because remember, she's like in the mountains, there's so many trees.
Baltimore doesn't have trees?
No, but I'm genuinely, because I think I have hay fever because I have a lot of dust allergies. So to me, like Kiana had hay fever.
Like she had an allergic reaction to something.
Yeah, because the way she kept crying.
It's possible.
And then she was feeling, I think when she stood up, she said alcohol, but it might be she was dizzy because of the hay fever. So I personally think, Kiana's having hay fever. Because, but that's what I thought. But yeah, otherwise, can I also say one thing? It's 10 seasons and Ashley, you still don't have like a proper brand.
Have you met Ashley?
I love Ashley, so there's that, but I just feel, but yeah. Okay, bye-bye. I'm going to go.
Bye, Arjun. I just want to record Arjun saying, hay fever. Just the way he says it. I think she has hay fever. Oh, Lord. All right. Last but definitely not least, Judgy Justice, what's going on?
Hey, guys. Long time no see. How are y'all?
We're doing well. You?
Life be lifing, but I'm still here. Definitely this episode was a 6.5 out of 10 for me. Okay. Felt like definitely a chopped and like screwed like filler episode. And if I hear the word eviction come out of Ashley's mouth one more time when that man sent you to go live in a little hut in the forest, I'm going to scream. Because it's just not, especially given the status of like so many people that are going through such job insecurity in this country. It's just so tacky to just keep bringing it up, trying to think that's cute when people go through this in like real time. And then I love Stacey because she doesn't give like big sisters, she gives like upperclassmen that's like laughing at the freshmen going through this every year of these trial runs. Thank you guys. Bye.
Thanks, Judgy Justice. Take care. All right. Hold on. Oh wait. Oh yeah. Tree says, interesting YouTube video I saw recently. Homeworthy did a full episode home tour for Angel's Colorado home, which we've talked about. Maybe we should do like a special members live where we go through, we've done that before, where we go through that episode together. Members only though. Sorry, y'all. It was detailed and the thing was really interesting to match when this storyline. Yeah, we've talked about it. I actually watched that episode of Homeworthy. It's a beautiful home. The attention to details in that home as well. It's beautiful. Exactly. Represent yourself legal. Coco Esquire says altitude sickness is real. Does that also affect like what she was going through? Like I've never had it, so now, but just thinking about it, because I'd like to go to Colorado. Maybe I'll go see Angel's home. Angel, can I come over? She's like, no. She's like, no, you can't come over. Angel, I can't come over. Anyway, yeah, singing DSC. Her home is beautiful, and I've said this before. I feel like despite her being on the show, I think I would normally like Angel because of what I saw in that Homeworthy. I was like, I like the crystal. She inspired me when I set up and I designed my next home. I'm gonna get me a selenite chandelier. I was like, yes, that's a good idea, Angel. That's a good idea. And I understand why you want to bring some of the evil into your home. Okay. All right. Oh wait, we got someone backstage. Before we move on. Music, are you back there?
Yes, I am.
Hey,
Hello,
Music, what did you want to share?
Okay. So firstly, there is nothing that Giselle Bryant could tell me about how to spend my money on a home. Like, I cannot believe that Angel is taking anything from that woman. If I were her, I would just say, I don't want to get robbed, right, Wendy and everyone else? Like, this is what happens to the celebrities, the Bravo celebrities. I wouldn't want that to happen to me. And so I got a model similar to the lifestyle that I live. I would simply say that.
And then about Stacy, I enjoyed seeing her on Drew Barrymore. I thought she was so cute with her salesman thing, but I still don't understand how she's getting away with the TJ stuff. It was not that long ago, girl. You were crying on the reunion about being deceived, and now you have a husband. It would happen every time I talk to the woman. I would bring it up every time.
Well, in all fairness, it's her husband of 15 years that she's gotten back with. It's not like it's a new husband.
Okay.
Thanks, music, for calling in.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. I mean, she's right that they've really moved on from the TJ of it all. But look, TJ hasn't said anything since. He said he was going to drop receipts, and he never did. Did he end up signing some sort of settlement and get paid? We will never know. We will never know. Patricia says, Kempire, your recaps have turned into a mercurial nature. Belisha says, first trip to Golden, Colorado, and as soon as I walked into the Airbnb, I sneezed uncontrollably nonstop. It was horrible. For at least 3 days, I was miserable. Oh, see, you just never know. It could be all of that, what she was going through. But it was a cute moment with Kiarna. It was like one of the only cute moments with Kiarna this entire season. Exactly. Jamina says that TJ never brought the receipts. So I get why they moved on to other things, but they haven't. All right. Thank you to everyone that called in. Thank you to everyone that shared this live, that was a part of the conversation. Shout out to our members. Become a member today at TheKempire.com/join. Thank you to everyone that sent in super chats. Dina says, hey, Fever. Shout out to Arjun. Shout out to everyone watching on X, Twitch, Facebook. We're back on Facebook. And to the hacker, ain't no good gonna come to you till you do right by me. Anyway, but we're back. Shout out to Meta. That's the only time I'll ever shout out Meta. Okay. Anyway, so thank you all for being here. I hope you guys will join us for our Married to Medicine recap at 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm gonna go rewatch the episode, and I have a lot to say about Toya, Eugene, Dr. Simone, Cecil, Dr. Heavenly, and I'm sure you have a lot to say as well. All right, I see we got a super chat. Let me get into that, and then we're going to get out of here. Young Eartha Kit, thank you so much for the super chat. Young Eartha Kit says, I lived in Aspen for 2 years. Altitude sickness is a real thing. One drink really is 2 drinks. My first time arriving in town, I was down bad for 3 days just from landing. Golden rule, one water per drink. Well, I don't drink. So you're saying to me that I need to just make sure I'm just drinking plenty of fluids and bring some, liquid IV or something. Because I would like to go to Colorado. I'm going to go to Colorado and do my own home worthy of Angel's home. Angel, I know you watch Girl. Can I come through and do a live from your space? Look, I'm like, oh, Ron, this is gorgeous. Just saying. Anyway. All right, y'all. I hope you guys have a great rest of your afternoon. Don't forget, you can listen to our podcast version of our live recaps and special episodes on the Kempire Podcast. Subscribe today on your favorite podcast platform. You can also hear my thoughts on this new season, the first part of the new season of Members Only Palm Beach on Club Kempire on Apple Podcasts exclusively. So be sure to check that out. And don't forget to check out our sponsors of today, Wix.com and Factor. All that information, including our merch. Our merch will be available in the description of this live. All right, y'all. See you all at 3 p.m. Eastern. Bye, y'all.
Here we go now.